There we go.
All right, we are live.
Awesome.
I am Sandy.
And I am Chloe.
This is my ornery dog.
Do I have Oh no, she left. I did have a cat in here. Oh no, I do. She's hiding. Cat. Oh god, she won't even look at us, man. Ma'am, say hi to the camera. There. Put that on your face.
It's WordStitch.
Always with the dramatic openings.
Your cats are so quiet. They never mess up our word sprints, Like Honor here can totally mess up all kinds of things.
Yeah.
I know I love you. Yeah.
She has yet to set herself on fire in front of the camera, and I'm proud of her for that.
Hey.
So my cats are banned from my room for a while because one of them has litter box issues, and they've been really good lately. So I've been letting them in my room, and I haven't had any problems. But also, because they weren't allowed in my room, I started using these things again. If you've never had a cat, just so you know, they're highly flammable. It kind of just like poofs off of their extra hair and goes out. But also cat hair, just like human hair, smells really bad when it's burning.
And to clarify there, she's not saying the candle is flammable. She's saying the cat is
highly flammable. Yes. And dumb.
Oh,
she jumped right on top of that. She leapt over my shoulder because that's what she does. She jumps from my bed onto my shoulder, onto my table, so she can like ruin my writing world. But then that one time, she instead just ruined her belly fur. She's fine. Anybody who has cats can probably tell you that cats just set themselves on fire sometimes. It doesn't even have to be on like open fire. My mother has set one of her cats on fire by cooking breakfast. And like she forgot to turn the burner off. It was an electric stove. It wasn't even like a live gas fire. This is stuff that you can add to your books if you need to add humor and it's a contemporary and they've got pets. So she didn't turn the eye off, but she like dumped her eggs or whatever it was onto the plate. And she turns around and the cat's just sitting there on the counter because we had dogs too. So we fed the cats on the counter. Cat's just sitting there with its tail on the eye. And the tail just goes and the thing is that with cats, they've got so much fur that they really can't feel it. I mean, obviously if like the cat was in a bad situation and it burned through to its skin, it would feel it. But like if it's just the fur that catches, they can't feel it. So the cat has no idea that his tail is on fire. He just knows that mom is screaming at him. And as all animals do when they're screamed at, he runs and sets a couple little fires along the way before the tail finally went out and he hid under a sofa. I just want the story of how I came home from college and was like, Mom, why is Casper's tail black? As evidenced by the name, Casper was a white cat. And for some reason, the tip of his tail was black, and that was why.
Oh dear. Don't listen. We're never going to set your tail on fire. Yeah. So since I'm holding my ornery dog and while we all listen to stories of flammable cats, hi to Herb and Devin and Sarah and the pronoun and anybody that I've missed so far. We are excited to have you here this afternoon. Oh my gosh.
It's okay.
I'm not even that out of it. Like I was really excited about writing today. I am psyched about writing.
I have 4 days left until unemployment. I am psyched about life in general.
So this is why we are a little insane with the story today. But we'll settle after our first.
I should set this up this sprint. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So let's all get into the mood to write.
Also, I've had a lot of people give me weird looks when I say unemployment, but like I feel dirty saying like full-time writer until I'm actually making enough money off of it to even remotely support myself and not just drain my savings. So you could say that I'm about to be a full-time writer. You could also say I'm about to be unemployed. I'm okay with either.
I'm going to go with full-time writer.
It sounds fancier. Like definitely for your baby shower, if we have to do like a meet and greet, make sure you introduce me as a full-time writer and not unemployed.
More on that in a moment.
Yes. Okay, we're gonna go sprint for 10 minutes. Yeah, and our prompt today is rocket launch because I might be starting my unemployment with seeing a rocket launch. Woo! All right, we'll see you guys in 10 minutes.
Okay, we are back.
Yes.
Yes. I think we should go back to this whole concept of the full-time writer thing in a minute, but I don't know how many words I got. I failed to count ahead of time, but I think I'm doing okay.
So I am back. We never even talked about what we're working on, but I'm back on Verity, the last book in my Candy for Demons series. And I am writing this with Y Writer. I am spreading my wings away from Scrivener and seeing if anything sticks. Y Writer has a really interesting tracking system. It doesn't actually have a session thing, but it will tell you the words, number of words in the book, the chapter, the scene, and how many have been written total today. So I just started writing. I wrote 203. So that is what I wrote for that session. And from there, we'll see if I can math after that.
Nice. And okay, so Herb got 376. That's a lot of words for 10 minutes. Sarah's doing revisions and proofreading on a short story. I'm also drafting, but again, I don't know how many words I got this time. And if you're with us, hopefully you're drafting, writing, editing, or, cleaning your house, doing whatever makes you productive as a writer right now, which totally launches us into full-time writer definitions. So Chloe is separating. She's separating from her job.
I resigned. I have a letter of resignation. Yes. It's weird. Not like a letter of resignation that I wrote. I just had to fill out paperwork, but then I was mailed a confirmation of my resignation, which is really weird because I'm still there. And it was literally mailed to me from the store that I was physically in for 8 hours today. But yeah.
I'm so proud of you for this. I'm so glad that you're actually dumping this job that you kind of not loved for a really long time.
I love what I do. I hate where I do it.
So now you're going to be unemployed, except you're also going to be writing all of the time. So how would you define full-time writing then, Chloe? Why wouldn't you fall under that definition?
Okay, so here's something really funny about me. I hear writers all the time talk about imposter syndrome. And everything that I have heard about it indicates that I in no way have imposter syndrome. I don't have any illusions of grandeur on my writing. I recognize that I am writing a paranormal romance, which can be really not professional. That's not the word that I'm looking for, but really thought-provoking, really
literary.
Really literary. That is not what I write. But I also write to a market and I'm not, I see that I am absolutely where I want to be in that aspect. So I don't think I'm an imposter. I absolutely think that I am writing something that is worth other people reading. And that I hopefully can make a career off of if I can figure out marketing. And I feel like marketing is definitely why I'm not making that much money and not the product itself. But because I am not making any sort of tangible wages from it, because I'm not even bringing in $500 a month yet. So it's not I don't even really consider it part-time job status yet. Therefore, I have issues calling it full-time author. And that is where my, I guess, imposter syndrome may or may not be.
I think that's totally where it is. Yeah. But it's interesting, right? To be a full-time writer, do you have to be making a living wage from it? And the reality is that if that's what's required to be a full-time writer, then most full-time writers aren't full-time writers.
This is absolutely fair. I'm thinking of those people who spend a decade writing a book and still consider themselves full-time writers. I will say though, and this, please don't take this in any way personally, because I realize that this is like
Applies to me.
100% you, but like if there is somebody else supporting you, I also feel like it's kind of a different situation. I am just me. I don't have anybody. I mean, I am in a situation where I live with someone and he's one of my closest friends, and like we look out for each other, but we are in no way financially dependent on each other. So that I feel like also changes the scenario just slightly. Like most people who are full-time writers, but like are not actually making that living wage, they are still stable in some way.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is, I don't know, there was a great article I saw this week from an agent who like wrote a bunch of like sort of like, this is what you need to know about traditional publishing, like FAQ type things. And one of her questions that she answered was, can I quit my day job? And she wrote something to the effect of, no. Sorry, even if you get a contract, you can't quit your day job unless you have somebody supporting you, or you're Nora Roberts, right? But otherwise, like you get that traditional contract, and it's going to be paid out over years. It's the only project you can have going at the time.
It in no way indicates that you're going to continue on with them. I know that some people get like multi-book publishing deals, but that's not necessarily a standard anymore. If it ever was, I don't know what the industry was in the past, but certainly like if you're, again, I'm a romance writer, so I know mostly about that. Like if you're writing for Harlequin or Carina, their digital offshoot, like you're like every single book you write, you have to pitch to them. They're not automatically going to pick up your books just because they've liked what you've done before. And if what you've done before doesn't go well, then they might not ever pick you up again.
Yeah, you would still consider those. So like, let's suppose you got a deal and you decided that like, okay, like you and your spouse or something decided, all right, like this is a potential opportunity, right? Like I'm gonna write full time. You're still okay with calling those people full-time writers. So it's okay to have a contract that doesn't pay a living wage, but be a full-time writer. It's okay to barely be making any wage and have a spouse that supports you and be a full-time writer, but it's not okay to be attempting to make it on your own without a patron.
So here's another layer to that, though, is I almost feel like I feel like it's cruel to call you unemployed. Like
I write self-employed on all my stuff.
Right. Oh yeah, I guess you do have the other thing. You just don't do it that much anymore.
Yeah.
You freelance. You've got your freelance work. But I feel like if I was like the spouse of somebody in a single income household where I was not the income, I wouldn't know what to call myself, especially like if I was not a parent, if I was just like
taking care of your husband,
the housemaker. I feel like in that situation, you need a title, like it's, not just for yourself, but also for your partner. Like you need to have some sort of a title on you. Whereas I can just be unemployed and like, I did that. I'm unemployed.
Well, I mean, I guess you're assuming that like your spouse might need this, right? I definitely know people who don't have titles and are still homemakers, right? Like that is still a thing, a really kind of privileged thing. But more on this in a few minutes because we've got comments on it, and also we need to write. So okay, hold those thoughts, guys. Let's
all right.
Let's write.
Your character resigns. Sandy likes to do themes on her prompts based on things I say. So we are going to write for the next 25 minutes. So we'll see you guys at about 10 of the hour.
Okay.
How'd you do?
That was like 300 words for me, but there was a decent amount of like revision that was going on, so I'm still pretty pleased with where it's going. What about you?
It looks like I got like 450. I think I was right
Nice.
around 200 last time. I'm at 648 now.
Okay. And if you're with us,
how you're doing at home. What?
yeah. So let's look at the comments that we have. So we have a few on the issue of full-time work. Natalia says it makes you extra brave to take the leap, and it's inspiring that you've chosen to do that. Oh, and I like this too. She calls what you're doing employed with deferred financial payment.
That's fair. You know, it is kind of a weird thing. I guess this is, this is how the world always used to be, but it's not anymore. We're in a weird thing where we get paid well after we do the work, and that's just not the world that we're in anymore. But of course, like back in the day, if you were like a seamstress or whatever, you didn't get paid until your product was finished. If you made goods for stores, like this is how the world always was until now. Except in this thing.
This is how the world is for anybody who freelances, right?
Like,
well,
yes, absolutely.
Work.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I find this. So Sarah says that she kind of ponders this question as a mom who homeschools and writes 3 to 5 hours a day. So Sarah, I totally understand this. And nobody would understand this from my perspective, but like my husband's job is more important than mine. I've followed him around the country to like 3 different states. It's really, really hard to have your own career and follow somebody else from state to state. So I've been kind of stuck in like the entrepreneurial contracting business, but yeah, like, and it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time to do stuff for your family. Like,
and when you're homeschooling, like that is a career in and of itself, but like it's a weird, like it is, but it isn't. It's
totally tons of work.
Like it absolutely is, but like it's not something that has a label, and it's in that weird situation of it still being like, well, it's just because you're a mom and you decided to do this. So I certainly, I don't have anything against homeschooling, but like when you're getting down to like how you identify yourself, it is a weird, like it's in a weird position.
I think that's the right way to think about it too, right? It's not that you shouldn't be allowed to do whatever the hell you want. I have a great feminist book club, and when I tried to explain my situation to them at some point, a very wise older woman said to me, "You do whatever you want to do, and like everybody else can basically like F off."
Yeah,
like, it's not your job to to explain yourself. But I think Chloe has a good point that doesn't mean you don't feel like you need to explain yourself to yourself. Right? Like there's still your own identity. And for writers, that's really hard because you don't always get paid very well, or even think about like work style. How many, like if you're writing with us, here's a poll question for you. Do you think you could spend 8 hours a day writing? Like solidly writing? Do you think I bet you could, Chloe.
Or I'm going to say writing or doing writing adjacent stuff. Like if you're making your covers, if you're doing marketing stuff, but like actually devoting yourself to about 8 hours a day of making your writing a career.
Right. Like not like laundry, not like cleaning, not sewing, not like making dinner, walking your dog, like no, none of this. Just 8 hours of writing. I don't think I could do it. Chloe, you probably could. I bet you actually could.
I'm working like obviously like, so I'm in my final days right now. And so like, I'm having thoughts about what I'm going to be doing, but like, I don't know if that's actually how it's going to be. I'm looking at 6 hours. I'm looking at 3 2-hour blocks, doing that 8 to 10, and then doing something in the afternoon, and then potentially doing 8 to 10 again at night, or because like 6 to 8 is spoken for. That is my social time with Ken. So yeah, so I'm gonna see if I can like split it into 3 2-hour chunks, and I feel like 6 hours. Again, like this is certainly part of the work. This is something that I'm gonna have to like figure out as well. Part of my work is thinking about my work all day and my other job, because my other job is not a cerebral job. I don't have to like think, like I'm not thinking at work. It's not like I'm number crunching or anything like that, because I'm creating. So I'm also like trying to figure out like when is that thinking time going to be, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it efficiently. I don't know if I'm going to be able to plot at a computer. And like figuring out plot holes. I don't know how that's going to work. Like there are definitely things that I'm like, I have no idea how this is going to work. But if I like get something figured out where like I also have 2 hours of this time to just think while I'm doing something else, whether it's, going for walks or whatever, then yes. In that sense, I could get 8 hours of work done a day.
I think that's an interesting point, that like there's this sort of thinking time that you need when you can be doing other stuff. And by the way, we do have at least one person. Sarah says she could happily do 8 hours a day. I think that's admirable, honestly. Yeah. And I know a lot of indie writers do this. I
also don't know, because I've worked 8 hours a day.
Right.
Every day. Like, I don't, like, there's definitely that fear of like, am I just going to like get sucked into television because I don't watch television anymore? Am I going to accidentally do that? Or am I going to be bored? I don't know. I've never been in this situation before.
And I feel like it's hard to say. Like, you don't really know what you'd be like until you actually try it. It's surprisingly difficult to be your own boss and to have like all of your, right, like to have every responsibility just on you, and you don't report to anybody else. I don't know. I feel like there's also a lot to be said for like finding
Except
out
like my mortgage lender.
Well, okay, true. But that responsibility previously, right? Like there's nobody who's going to be breathing down your neck and saying like, Chloe, you need to be working, like punching that time card.
Yeah.
But then there's also this issue of like, when you work for yourself, you get to decide when you're most productive. Like I think my productivity drops off after like 5 hours of solid like writing time. I can do other things.
You can't do 5 solid hours.
But even if I were doing like 5 across the span of a day.
Oh, okay.
Like I have about that many hours in me where I can do creative writing work. Marketing I can do more of, but the creative writing work, that's like my max. And after that, everything is gibberish and I'm not good at what I do. Like it's wasted time. Yeah. So in some ways I'm more likely to get more done doing less. And I think there's a lot of people, in fact, there's a lot of research out there about sort of like how much time you could actually spend being productive before you need to do something else. So
and now I just have to figure out like how much time is that actually for me, because I've never had that full window of time. I've always had to like cram it in after my job or like on my days off. And then like, your days off, like it's not like you get 100% productivity on your days off, because that just should be recovery time from your days on.
Yeah, right. And I mean there's an issue of like, so now if let's suppose you get 4 solid hours in a day, are you a full-time writer? Because I mean, honestly, you were being really productive before this when you have a full-time job.
Also a fear of mine. Am I actually going to be any more productive?
But like, let's suppose you're a little productive, right? Like you're twice as productive even.
Yeah.
Like, because you can only do 4 hours. Like, does it matter how many hours, or does it matter what you can get done?
No, I 100% think that the distinction between a full-time and a part-time writer is whether they've got another job that is a full-time job. Like, even I have been talking like with that whole thing about when is my thinking plotting time going to be. I'm thinking about getting a job with Instacart, just to get out of the house and get some hours. I work at a grocery store now, so like COVID just isn't. I can't do anything about it, so I'm not really worried about it going forward. So yeah, I was thinking about doing Instacart, but it'll only be a couple hours a week, so I'll still be a full-time writer with a part-time gig grocery shopping for people. Getting a little bit of money and getting out of the house a bit. Oh, it's that time.
I know it's that time. So okay, so more on this. Is that how you spell patron? Did I get that?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay.
And then Herb, I want to know why you're hating on Scrivener right now. I saw your comment and then we got sidetracked. So yeah, so we're gonna write for the next 30 minutes. We will see you guys at 1:30.
Okay.
I killed the beep. I'm sorry. I don't know if y'all can normally hear the beep of the timer, but I accidentally clicked on the timer, not realizing it was finishing right then, and it just shut it off.
I don't think we usually can hear the timer because you're usually muted, but
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
yeah. So I got words written. I'm not sure how many. A decent number. What about you?
I got sidetracked stressing my numbers, stressing money numbers.
See, because we're talking about this whole thing about
Well,
employment.
not my finances, but my the money I have made today. I money has been real weird lately on Amazon. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on, and like for a second, I think I just have a book that was bought, and I had 2 books bought, and I thought they were bought together, but I've only gotten royalties for one of them. And I was trying to figure out, like, I got the note. I mean, you don't get a notification when you make a sale, but like I saw the 2 orders at the same time, so I assumed that they were together. And they might have been separate, and that's real cool because that means that somebody read one book and then bought the other, as opposed to somebody just buying 2 books, which is more valuable, because that means it's somebody who's going to buy the 3rd book, so forth and so on. But I couldn't figure out what was going on, and for a second there, I thought I only got 23 cents in royalties on the other one, because I thought that my Australia listing was wrong, but it's not, and it's being tabulated really weird right now. So I just for some reason have royalties from one but not the other.
Amazon stress.
Yeah. Yeah, don't stalk those numbers. If it's at all possible for you to not stalk numbers, I am unfortunately a number person, and I'm obsessed with data, and this is live action data, except it's not. If you can avoid treating it as live action data, do that because it's a nightmare.
Hey, for those of you getting in words, the pronoun alley cat. Good job. Keep wording. We promised we'd talk a little bit about Scrivener for Herb this time because he's having some specific problems.
Yeah, he's having weird problems though.
I've had, I think, at least 2 of these problems.
I haven't had any of these problems. I just don't like Scrivener.
I love Scrivener. The license thing. So at some point, Scrivener updated, and the update did not jive well with like Windows or various operating systems. And so when you logged into Scrivener, it would give you this message that said something to the effect of, you do not have a license anymore, please renew. And then you'd have to like look up your license information, and it'd be like a big pain in the butt. They resolved that, at least for Windows, which I'm not sure if Herb is working on Windows. But you have to make sure you have the latest update installed. So it's like for sure you need to make sure you've got the latest Scrivener, or you could have a problem with that. So Herb, I hope that helps you. I don't know. Maybe you're already updated and Scrivener is just being really wonky for you, but it helped me to update on all of my computers. Have you had trouble with Scrivener losing stuff for you, Chloe?
No, and that's why I'm surprised. Like, of all of the weird problems I've had with Scrivener, the one thing I could say for it is I've never had any noticeable data loss. Like, I'm really bad at backing up my stuff, so I'm sure I've lost a word here or there, but I've never like lost a chunk that I noticed.
So I have lost one chunk once because I was sitting outside in like 90-degree weather and my computer overheated, and Scrivener like didn't know which backups to go to. So when I opened my computer back up, it had like opened the wrong files, and then I had to like go back and find some things. But auto backups are a feature in Scrivener, actually. So it's just one that you have to find. That sounds horrible. It's auto, just not auto.
That has been not that specific problem, but that has been a problem with me in Scrivener, is that there are all these great features that I can't find on it.
Right. You have to find it to be able to use
if I know that the feature exists, I can Google and typically get directions for it. But like if I don't know it exists, I never use it. And then somebody's like, oh, and I use this thing. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And there it is. Surprise.
Oh, like Scrivener's so weird because with the backups, you have to like change it for every project. So like you have to go into the options, I think, and then find the backups and figure out like when it's backing things up and where it's backing things up to, and then tell it various things. And yeah, it's there, Herb. I swear, in my version. But if it's not on for you right now, that wouldn't surprise me. Also, snapshots. That it does do snapshots. They're not automatic at all. But so you guys know, you can actually like if you select all in your like little file manager area, and go to documents, there will be a spot where you can say like take snapshot of all highlighted files, and it will like you click one button once and then you can get a snapshot of everything so that later on at least you have that. Because otherwise, I don't know about you guys, but I'll like start revising and be like, oh shoot, what did I have in my original version? Did I do a snapshot? No, of course not.
I just assume that I will lose everything until I transfer it to a Word file. I'll do my initial like chunky edit. I'm not like a strong editor. I don't mean that to say I'm a weak editor, but I'm a strong drafter. Like I write strong first drafts, and therefore my editing is not too intense. So if it is like, if I am going to be getting rid of something that I'm not sure I want to get rid of, I will save, like I'll like make a new scene so that old scene can go into my trash, and it does not auto delete trash. But other than that, like I just do my edits and I accept that they are what they are. And then when I export it to Word, then that'll be a fresh edit at that point. So like whatever I did at that point in Scrivener is still there. And then with my Word edits, I will tend to save them like as I'm drafting. Like I'll do a save as. So I do have a couple of versions at that point.
A few tricks. This is, by the way, that backup feature that's under tools, options, backup, buried like 3 or 4 levels in. So yeah,
the pronoun I just mentioned, using Google Docs on their phone. I have recently I'm not using it for this current one because I had already started with YWriter, and I just wanted to see how YWriter went for me. For another project that I'm currently outlining, I'm using WaveMaker for that. And WaveMaker is really interesting because the app for the phone is pretty much identical to the computer app. Obviously, it's compressed to fit on your phone, and it's kind of a little wonky to work with because it is on your phone. So you have to like constantly open and close things to like, make it shift around. The other thing with that is the backup is real funky with it, and I've lost stuff. I was able to restore it, but because I didn't know just how funky it is, like you have to manually update your file. If you try to open it in something else and then save it, you will absolutely lose the work on the other thing. So that's a bit of an issue like that. That is a big issue. Although because I lost all that stuff, now I'm terrified and I back it up constantly. But it is something interesting to try. It's very pretty, and it's got a ton of different features. And unlike Scrivener, where it's kind of just like a bunch of blank pages and templates, it's actually got like 6 different organization methods in it.
Hmm.
Yeah, like it's got a snowflake and it's got keyword organizers and stuff like that. It's a unique program.
So there are things out there, just there's nothing perfect.
There's
Somebody
nothing
designed
perfect.
that.
Huh?
Someone go design that, right?
Right.
Someone give
Right.
us a scrivener that backs up easily.
Yeah. That
A
has
Y writer that's
in
prettier.
it and also looks the same on your phone, is on your phone and looks the same on your phone, but backs up properly.
You know, one of the big problems I have with Scrivener actually, a lot of my files get really big. If your files get big, they can take a really long time to open, especially if you're saving stuff in the cloud.
Yes.
It's a pain in
That's
the ass.
also an issue with when you're trying to select all or just trying to see it in a different format so you're not skipping through scenes. Like if you want to see it all as one single document, Scrivener's like, go F yourself. This is not how I work. And I have absolutely like not done it deliberately, but like accidentally tried to see an entire novel in a single screen and then had to like come back to my computer 20 minutes later just to tell it I didn't want to do that. I'm sorry I put you through that, but I was scared to exit in the middle of it.
Oh dear, oh dear. Hey, right before our next word sprint thing, I'm gonna put our Google spreadsheet sign up in the chat.
Yes.
So
Also, hey
again,
Nikki, sorry, we've been in like a big ramble today that yeah, we've not been making time for our viewers and I apologize, but life is interesting right now.
yes.
But yeah, yeah,
Um,
go if you want to join us anytime in the next couple of months. Here's a spreadsheet there. If like you want to join us on a specific day and somebody has already signed up for that day, go ahead. Like we can have up to I think 6 people on StreamYard. I have no idea how we'll organize that, but I feel like we're pretty good at like at keeping things organized so we're not like herding cats. But yeah, so if you want to join us at all on screen or just on microphone, that's fine too. Again, we're at some point going to be losing Sandy for an unknown chunk of time, and we don't know when it's going to be. And I don't do well with this by myself. So
by themselves, this would be boring just by yourself.
yeah, it's weird. I always feel bad for people who do these things by themselves. Like I know that they chose that for themselves, but like I feel like you need somebody to be talking to. It's weird to just talk to like a chat bubble.
That's how we are, at least.
Yeah, I don't do well with that. I don't know. I'm always one of those people like I hate talking on the phone, but like I will talk to face and I will text, but like trying to do all of this. Veterans Day is always a Monday, right? Isn't that a Monday falling holiday? Am I wrong about that?
Veterans Day 2020. Let's Google it real quick. It's a Wednesday.
Oh no,
November
okay.
11th? That's
Ken
weird.
always takes off because he's a veteran, so I should have paid attention better, I guess.
So yeah, so if you're around, then definitely join us. I'll try to stick around for as many as I can. I feel like this might be like the only sane thing in my life at some point, but we'll see how that all goes. So okay, I think we should write some more, huh?
Yeah, we do have another 10-minute sprint. Let me Yeah, I feel bad that I didn't know that because I've absolutely had to babysit Ken while he gets absolutely obliterated on Veterans Day. Like in celebration, but also like Marines celebrate with like an absolute metric F ton of shots. And a cake that they cut with a sword. Okay, so oh yeah, Memorial Day. Okay, I'm sorry. We're gonna do our sprint, and then we'll wrap up, and we'll talk a little bit more about what's going on. Okay. We'll see you guys in 10 minutes.
Okay. So I don't know how I did that time, but I'm up to 1821 words for the day. So I must have been doing okay because I started like 10 minutes before this.
I have been really distracted, so I did get a bit of words. Nothing major. I got 1,000 during our stuff, so that's pretty decent. Also, I can't stress enough that this is baby steps, but as of today, this is my highest grossing month yet.
Yay.
I'm also negative because of advertising, but it's progress. It's a weird way of looking at progress because again, I've lost more money than I've made this month. But that hopefully again I'm picking up readers and will actually like it will turn into profit eventually. It's hard. It's hard starting. It's hard to
This is awesome. You've worked really hard for this. You have lots of books out in the same series under the same name. You're advertising. You're doing it right. This is amazing. Good job. Good job.
Yay.
Also, you should have told us this like 30 minutes ago so I could
No, I just realized it. That like the royalty that I was missing, it popped and when it did, I went to check my stuff on Book Report. And that was so just in like the last 10 minutes when I checked my stuff on Book Report. I was actually checking to see if I had like a weird new review or something because it's weird that I had these sales today because I actually canceled ads a couple of days ago. So it's weird that I had like as much sales as I did today. I am gonna have cake because I have leftover birthday cake from this weekend. It wasn't my birthday, but there is birthday cake in the fridge. So I will be having some cake. But yeah, this was a nice little surprise for me.
That is awesome.
And I'm hoping that this means that I will end up turning a profit this month.
Yeah. So Herb posted something. There was a video on why you shouldn't be advertising. Something we might want to look into. I think there's
not advertising failed terribly for me. So
I'm still jury's still out, but I'm very excited about this for you. I think this is awesome. And okay, so for those of you who got words in, good job.
Yes.
And the dog always knows when it's 6 o'clock. I think she just has like an inside timeline. So Nikki asked us to tell you about, or asked you to tell us about the book series. You want me to mute for a second, or do you want to maybe save that for next time?
Oh, no, we're good. You're going to mute anyways. This is my demon romance series. So this is, and I actually just got the proof for the one that is coming out this weekend. It's really crooked. Obviously you're seeing my reflection in it. I was really unhappy with how this cover came out. But that's okay. I adjusted and, Ken, my roommate, his mom reads my books. She's actually the only reason that I do paperbacks. Because she only reads paperbacks. And it doesn't like cost me any money to make paperbacks. It just causes me the stress of why is this cover so crooked? So she'll, when she gets her copy, I'll see what hers looks like and fix it. But this is just my demon romance. It follows the holidays. So there's the Christmas one and the Easter and the Halloween. And then there's going to be a Valentine's one. And it's 3 sisters who fall in love with demons and an angel. And then an angel who falls in love with their dad. So yeah, they're just fluffy stories. Although the last one that I'm working on now is going to be pretty serious, but it's comedy. The first one, the demon finds her because she's got a review that says that she makes the best lemon bars in the world. And he just wants her for her lemon bars and then falls in love with her because that's how these stories work. I don't know why you're laughing so hard.
I'm never going to get over that. He falls for her lemon bars.
Yeah. Sandy, so this story exists because I was stressing about my other series and Sandy was trying to convince me to write something else, to take a break from that other series. And I was like, fine, this is what I am writing. A girl who sees ghosts, and an angel who's sent to kill her, and a demon that saves her because he reads a Yelp review about her lemon bars. And Sandy was like, please don't write that. And I did. And Sandy loves it.
I love it so much. It's so gooey and delicious and fun. And also the sex scenes are really good. So like,
Thanks.
you know, if you like sex and candy,
yeah.
What's not to love, right? Okay, so that being said, we should probably end and let everybody come back next week.
We are going to end really quickly, but she is saying that our next virtual write-in is Monday at 4 to 6 p.m., but I believe I'm actually going to be doing Monday at 8 a.m. that day. So, yeah, because you're muted, Sandy, right now. I feel like you just said something, but you're muted. I'm not going to do an every single day 8 a.m. thing, but next week I will, because I'm at my parents' condo and it's my first week of full-time writing. So I'm going to attempt next week at least to do 8 a.m. every single day for my own accountability, and you guys are invited, and that is 8 a.m. Eastern time. So I know it's really early for a lot of you, or just like a weird time. So, that's right. And Natalia read my books and loved them as well. Thank you. But yeah, so, if you're an early bird, on the East Coast, or you live over in Europe where it's a nice time in the afternoon, come join me next week for a bit of accountability sprints. We'll still be sprinting. I don't know if I'm going to go for a full 2 hours. We'll see.
I will join you if I can. We'll see. Devin notes 8 a.m. exists. I'm not really sure about that either. So
you have responded to my messages at 7:30 before. I know you have.
We will still be doing our regular Monday write-ins also. Yes. So now you can see Chloe most are you talking every day at 8 a.m.?
I'm just doing every day next week. I know for a fact the following week I will not be doing Monday because I'll be on an airplane. So I'm just going to be doing it for next week, because I'm not only am I not working, but I'm also not going to be home where my roommate is getting up at 6 a.m. So there will be absolutely nothing getting me out of bed except that I promised you guys I would be here at 8 a.m. You're muted again.
Sorry, because of the dog. The whole neighborhood barks when she barks. Yeah. This is the whole thing, and my windows are open. So 8 a.m. on Monday. So hopefully she sees you here, and maybe me too. We'll see.
Yeah. If I'm by myself, I'll just be doing my thing. But like, come join me and have a cup of coffee with me.
Yeah. All right. So thanks.
Right, of course.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. Productivity is good for you. It's what a full-time writer would do.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Let's see. Yes, and we are excited to have Nikki joining us on 10/12, and I think Natalia is going to be with us for some of these, and Spence for others. And anybody else who signs up, thank you. We appreciate that, and we will see you next week.
Next Monday. Yeah, one time or the other.
One time or the other. Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.